How do you capture a man protected by a $15 billion military shield without starting a world war? Nicolás Maduro was not just a president. He was a fortress protected by Russian S-300 missiles that can hit a target 150 miles away. He had a safe room designed to survive a nuclear blast. For 6 years, the US had a $50 million bounty on him, but they could not touch him. Until now. January 3rd, 2026, 2 a.m. The US used the sonic shield. And a single blowtorch to do the impossible in exactly 4 minutes. This is a technical breakdown of how the CIA exploited a 2-inch gap in the world's most secure palace. March 2020. The United States indicts him for narco-terrorism, leading the Cartel of the Suns, moving $10 billion in cocaine annually through Venezuela into America. But here's why nobody had tried this before. Venezuela's defenses weren't a joke, and Maduro's compound hidden inside this fortress. Steel-reinforced doors, Cuban bodyguards trained by Russia, safe rooms that could withstand a missile strike. He knew America wanted him. He'd been preparing for years. To capture him meant defeating an entire military, infiltrating their capital, locating him in real time, and extracting before anyone could react, all without killing civilians or starting World War III. It would require perfect intelligence and a spy on the inside. August 2025. A small CIA unit infiltrates Venezuela. Their mission? Track Maduro's every move. According to declassified reports, they monitored where he slept, what he ate, his security rotation schedules, even his pets. But the breakthrough came from someone inside Venezuela's government, a source close to Maduro, someone with access to the palace. This spy provided compound layout, security protocols, daily patterns, the critical detail, which room he slept in. And here's the detail that changed everything. The safe room door was 6 inches of solid steel, designed to be impenetrable. But the frame? There was a 2-inch gap. With the right tool, a high-temperature blowtorch, they could cut through in 47 seconds. Maduro's impenetrable fortress had a flaw. Delta Force didn't just study the intelligence. They built an exact replica of Maduro's compound at a classified facility. They rehearsed the raid dozens of times. Every hallway, every corner, every door. They practiced until they could execute the mission blindfolded. By December, everything was ready. But there was one absolute rule: total secrecy. Congress? Not informed. Media? Clueless. Allied nations? Kept in the dark. President Trump later explained, Congress has a tendency to leak. This would not be good. December 27th, no-go, storm. December 30th, no-go, winds too high. January 1st, still waiting. January 2nd, weather window opening. The CIA sends confirmation. Maduro's at the compound. He'll be there overnight. 2246 EST, January 2nd, 2026. President Trump gives the order. Here's the genius of this operation. While the world watched US aircraft carriers in the Caribbean, the real attack was launching from 20 different air bases across the region. This is what made the operation revolutionary. The US created what's called a sonic shield. When B-1 bombers and F-35s flew over Caracas, their engines created a wall of sound so loud, 140 decibels, that it drowned out everything else. Inside that deafening cover, much quieter helicopters, operating at 80 decibels, slipped toward the compound completely masked. Venezuelan radar might see the jets, but the helicopters? Invisible beneath the noise. Why F-35s instead of older F-16s? Venezuela had Russian S-300 air defense systems. On radar, an F-16 lights up like a Christmas tree, easy target. But an F-35, its radar signature is the size of a golf ball, nearly invisible. The F-35s went hunting. 2 a.m. local time, Caracas residents hear the first explosions.
Started around 2 a.m. Local time. I heard a very, very large bang, an explosion, and all the windows started vibrating, all the windows shaking. And immediately after that, I witnessed a large a tower of smoke.
Venezuela's air defense network goes dark, and inside that chaos, the helicopters were already approaching. These aren't normal helicopters. The MH-60M is equipped with infrared cameras that turn night into day, terrain-following radar that lets them fly 50 feet off the ground, and enough firepower to destroy a tank. From Puerto Rico to Caracas, 810 miles. For 90 minutes, Night Stalker pilots flew over open ocean in complete darkness. No landworks, no roads, just black water. They navigated using GPS and muscle memory, pilots with thousands of combat hours. Then, the coastline of Venezuela appeared. This is where it gets dangerous. They dropped even lower, now flying between buildings, using structures to mask their approach. And there it was. Target, Building 3, second floor, northeast corner. But before Delta Force could go in, one more thing had to happen. As jets struck military targets, cyber warfare teams went to work.
It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly.
Venezuelan military commanders couldn't communicate. They couldn't coordinate a response. They couldn't even see what was happening.
Comms are down. I can't raise command. The map is useless. We have no coordinates.
It was a blackout and no one knows what is happening. And then all the detonation, it was really, really strange. And everyone was running and trying to leave the building. And we were so scared. We didn't understand at the beginning.
And in that perfect storm of chaos, explosions, darkness, severed communications, the helicopters made their final approach.
Witnesses reported low-flying aircraft, well below normal altitude, moving with incredible speed.
They don't land at the compound. Too predictable. Instead, 2 blocks away, pre-scouted park, clear of obstacles. The helicopters come in fast, flare at the last second. Touchdown. Delta operators pour out. 12 men, 80 pounds of gear each. Within 15 seconds, helicopters lift off. They can't stay grounded. Too vulnerable. Delta Force is on the ground. The raid begins. Delta moves through pitch-black streets. Night vision down, weapons up. Radio silence. They encounter no resistance. Venezuelan military forces are confused. Explosions, blackout, communications down. They don't know what's happening. The operators reach the compound wall. They don't go through the gate. That's where guards expect threats. Controlled explosives blow a hole in the wall. Trump later described, they broke into places unable to be broken into, steel doors put there for just this reason. The compound is larger than expected, multiple buildings, guard stations, but Delta knows exactly where to go. Building 3, second floor, northeast corner. They move in 4-man stacks, clearing corners, scanning for threats. They encounter Venezuelan presidential guard.
Targets down.
The guards reach for weapons. Delta is faster. Suppressed gunfire. Double tap to center mass. Guards drop.
They got on the ground. Amazing talent and tremendous patriotism, bravery. The bravery was incredible. Let's see, they got off the helicopter and the bullets were flying all over the place. As you know, one of the helicopters got hit very badly, but we got everything back. And nobody killed.
They reach the stairs, move up, weapons trained upward, second floor. And then they hear it. Footsteps, someone running, fast. Maduro is trying to reach his safe room. Delta moves faster. According to President Trump,
But he was trying to get to his safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47 seconds, they say on average.
Maduro runs down the hallway. His Cuban bodyguards try to cover him. Delta doesn't slow down. Suppress rounds, precise
down,
shots,
target running.
guards fall. Trump described this moment.
He made it to the door. He was unable to close it.
An operator tackles him. He got bum rushed so fast that he didn't get into that room. FBI hostage rescue team agents, embedded with Delta, make the formal arrest.
Nicolas Maduro, you are under arrest by order of the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Even in a combat zone, on foreign soil, legal procedures are followed to the letter. This isn't just a military operation, it's a law enforcement action. But there's one more target.
Drop the phone. Hands up!
Maduro's wife, Cilia Flores, also indicted by the Department of Justice for narco-terrorism, is in the compound. A second Delta team secures her.
Confirmed. Both targets secured. Jackpot. Jackpot.
Back in Mar-a-Lago, President Trump watches the live feed.
I watched it literally like I was watching a television show. And if you would have seen the speed, the violence, it was an amazing thing, an amazing job.
Total time from breach to capture, 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Now they have to get out. The Night Stalkers, circling 2 miles out, immediately turn inbound. But Venezuelan forces are starting to mobilize. The initial confusion is wearing off. Commanders are piecing together what's happening. One helicopter takes small arms fire as it approaches the landing zone. AK-47 rounds pinging off the armored fuselage. The door gunner returns fire. 4,000 rounds per minute. Red tracers lighting up the night. The helicopter takes damage but keeps
Hydraulics
flying.
holding.
Night Stalkers don't
Fuel
quit.
systems.
They land at the same extraction point, 2 blocks from the compound.
Chalk 2 on deck.
Delta operators move both targets to the helicopters. This isn't gentle,
Package
this
is
is
loaded.
tactical extraction. Maduro is secured to a seat, blindfolded, soundproof headphones blocking all audio. He can't see, he can't hear, he doesn't know where he's going. This photo, released by Trump on Truth Social, goes viral instantly. Rotors at full power, maximum speed, getting out of there. They reverse the insertion route, low level over Caracas, out over the coast, back across the Caribbean. 200 miles offshore, the USS Iwo Jima waits. 4:20 a.m. local time. The helicopters land. Maduro is transferred to a secure holding cell below decks. By 5:29 a.m., President Trump announces to the world, Operation Absolute Resolve is complete.
Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil.
The world's reaction was immediate. International law experts debated, can you capture a sitting head of state on foreign soil? The Trump administration's position was clear. Maduro wasn't a legitimate leader. He was an indicted criminal. The 2020 indictment was lawful. The arrest was law enforcement, backed by military force. The US denied targeting civilians. All strikes were on military installations with precision weapons. January 6, 2026. Maduro appears in federal court in New York. When asked to confirm identity, he responds, I am the president of Venezuela. I consider myself a prisoner of war. Mr. Maduro, you are here as a criminal defendant, not a prisoner of war. But beyond the politics and legal debates, one question remained. How did they actually pull this off? Operation Absolute Resolve was a masterclass in 3 things. First, intelligence. The CIA's insight source was everything. Without someone feeding real-time information, which building, which floor, which room, what time, this mission never happens. They even discovered the 2-inch gap in the safe room door that made it vulnerable to a blowtorch. Second, deception. While the world watched aircraft carriers, the real attack launched from 20 different bases. The sonic shield of 150 aircraft masked helicopter insertion. The cyber blackout prevented any coordinated response. By the time Venezuelan forces understood what was happening, it was over. Third, overwhelming precision. Compare this to previous operations. This operation showcased it was the culmination of 20 years of continuous warfare, refining American special operations to near perfection. In less than 3 hours, the United States proved something the world had forgotten. Geography doesn't protect you. Walls don't protect you. Armies don't protect you. When America's Tier 1 operators decide you're the target, there is no place on earth you can hide. Nicolás Maduro now awaits trial in New York. Delta Force returned to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. The Night Stalkers returned to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Their helicopters are already being prepped for the next mission because somewhere in the world right now, another impossible operation is being planned. And when that call comes, they'll be ready. Because for America's most elite warriors, impossible is just another word for Tuesday.